Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Cops. This program is designed to give you some great recipe ideas while also introducing you to members of the UCF Police Department and our campus partners. I'm Commander James Mangan with the University of Central Florida Police Department, and I lead our 20 officers that are assigned to the Regional Patrol Division. That includes Downtown Campus, Rosen College, and our Lake Nona Medical City. With me is Dr. Chanda Torres.
Hi, my name is Dr. Chanda Torres, and I serve as the Assistant Vice President for Student Services with our new UCF Downtown campus.
And also, the person that's going to make sure that I walk away with all my fingers is Megan with FreshU.
No pressure. My name is Megan Case. I'm the Nutrition Coordinator with the FreshU program with the Wellness and Health Promotion Services Department. Our program helps students incorporate fruits and vegetables in their diet, teaches them some long lifestyle skills that they can walk away with, and just helps them eat a little bit of a healthier lifestyle, maybe get some fruits and veggies in there too.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, today we're going to be making a one-pan chicken and veggies. This is a really great dish to incorporate lots of fruits and veggies in them with a really great taste, and of course get a little protein with chicken. We've also incorporated some really great spices here so that we can add more flavor without adding calories or extra sodium. This is a really great dish to use in very different ways, and that if you don't have access to fresh veggies, you can do a bag of frozen California blend, one sweet potato, and chicken. We are serving this dish over quinoa today. Quinoa is a complete protein, so if you are a vegetarian and choose to leave the chicken out, it's still a complete dish for you, or a complete meal. All right, so we're gonna start with the sweet potato. Sweet potatoes cook at a little bit of a different time than the rest of our vegetables for this dish, so we're gonna do some pre-microwaving, so it's kind of a quick. And so I'm just going to go ahead and we wanna put some holes in it so that it doesn't explode in the microwave. We don't want that to happen. So we're gonna add some holes and then we're gonna microwave it for about 2.5 minutes on either side, okay?
Wow. And because of the magic of TV, it came out diced.
The next thing we have to do is prepare our fresh veggies now that we have our sweet potato cooked. So let's talk about some knife safety tips while we're holding our knife. So you both have some very sharp chef's knives in front of you. So whatever hand you typically write with or use for other things is what we want you to hold your knife with. You're gonna take your thumb and your pointer finger and put it on the top of the blade. Please don't put it on the bottom. And then you're gonna wrap the rest of your hands around the handle of the knife. And that gives you a nice firm grip on the knife. You're less likely to cut yourself when you hold your knife this way. We really don't want you gripping it any less than halfway down. So if you can do it at the top or in the middle, but no further than that, because we don't want your finger to slip, okay? Lots of people hold their knives this way. And this is appropriate if you're holding a steak knife, right? But if you're not, then it's a little easier for your knife to kind of get away from you. Okay? This is how we want to hold our knife. Okay, so we've already washed this. It's a really good idea to wash your fresh veggies right before you use them. And we're just going to take our knife and we're going to cut this stem off. Perfect. All right, and now we have a nice flat surface if you have one. If not, it's okay. Just kind of flip it as flat as you can, and we're going to cut it one more time. We're going to keep our guide hand, which is our hand that we're not using our knife, in a C, so that if we do slip, we don't accidentally cut ourselves. Perfect. Good. Great. All right, now that we've got it cut in half, this is super easy and it's really scientific. We're just going to break apart the rest of our broccoli here and throw them right in here. And it really just depends on how much of the stem you leave as to your preference of what you like when you eat broccoli.
These are some great ingredients. What would students do if they can't afford to buy groceries?
So we have several resources on campus for students who can't afford groceries. Of course, we have UCF Cares and Student Care Services and the Knights Helping Knights Pantry. The other thing that we recommend is SNAP coaching, which is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program coaching. Miss Christine, who's down here in the fall semester on Tuesdays, helps students apply for SNAP. which gives them a certain amount of money per month to purchase groceries if they're eligible for the program. Other things people can do to afford a recipe like this is use what they have in their refrigerator already or buy frozen vegetables. They don't have to worry about them going bad, and that's of course if they have access to a freezer or refrigerator and things like that.
That's great.
So you want to throw your broccoli in the bowl for me. Perfect. I'm going to grab your trash.
Yep.
That's perfect. All right, so we're going to cut our cauliflower much the same way. As you can see, the inside of our cauliflower has these little veins, so we want this middle part to come out, and you can just pull it off. Yep. And if it doesn't come off when you pull it, you can use your knife a little bit, right? It really just depends on how thick it is. It's perfect. All right, and now we're gonna hold our knife the same way we did with our broccoli and make some cuts, and you'll see it kind of falls apart, and then you can finish breaking it apart if you like. And we're gonna do that in the bowl too. Okay. All right, now that our cutting surface is clean, we're gonna peel our carrot. So I wanna show you a trick on how to keep this really hard vegetable from rolling away from you. On one side, we're just going to do a little extra peeling, so it gives us a flatter surface, right? So we just have a little bit of an extra peel on one side so that when you put it on your cutting board, it doesn't roll away from you. So I'm gonna do a little more on the bottom here, because mine's not quite, just like that. So it's not gonna roll for me. So you guys can do that with yours. Perfect. That is great. Yep, that's great. So we're going to take our knife and hold it the same way we did before. We still have some remnants of our other veggies on here, but that's okay. And we're going to cut off the bottom of your carrot. Yep. And the top. Yep. All right. The next thing I want us to do is cut it in half. Perfect. Okay, so because the carrots take a little bit longer to cook, we want to cut them a little bit smaller so that all of our vegetables cook about the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this long ways, but we want to take our guide hand, which is the hand not holding our knife, and we want to put it over the top of the blade. You see that? So we're kind of putting a C over the top of the blade so that we keep our hand out of the way and our vegetable doesn't cut us by accident. Our knife doesn't cut us by accident. Yep, perfect. I'm going to do the other one too. And then we're going to have these little half moons that we're going to cut. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to take two of them and kind of put them together. We're going to keep the tip of our knife on the cutting board, and our guide hand is still in a C, holding the vegetable back here to make sure that we don't cut ourselves. And we're just going to push our veggie through our knife. This takes a lot of practice. It's really a difficult skill, but it's something to practice when you're at home. And this makes our vegetable much smaller and much easier to cook with the rest of the veggies. All right, now that all of our carrots are chopped, we're going to go ahead and add them to the bowl along with our cooked sweet potato. Okay, now that we've added all the veggies and we've cleaned up our workspace a little bit, we're going to go into how to prepare our chicken. Now we want to prepare chicken last after we've prepared all of our veggies because we want to make sure that we don't cross-contaminate. Raw chicken can make us very, very sick. In this case, we're cooking the chicken with the veggies, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but we just like to be safe anyway. So today we're going to wear gloves, so if you'll grab your gloves and put them on. At home, we just want to make sure we wash our hands really well, 20 seconds, let them dry. And after we touch the chicken or leave the workspace to use the restroom, take care of something else, that we rewash our hands. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this chicken in half so that you all can practice chopping it. We want to put them in a nice, about 1 inch pieces. 1 inch cubes. So if you want to go ahead and chop those. And of course, sometimes we've got a little bit of fat on the back or a piece that we don't think will cook as well, and we can just cut that off and throw it away. And there is the option to keep this dish vegetarian if someone follows a vegetarian lifestyle. We would cook the veggies the same way we're going to cook them, just without the meat. Same ratio of spices and olive oil. And then we would serve it, of course, over the quinoa that we're going to serve it over today. So the chicken is just some added unsaturated fat and protein. And we want to cook this chicken to about an internal temperature of 165. Of course, most people don't carry a kitchen thermometer, which is perfectly fine. A couple ways you can tell chicken is cooked is when you cut it, there's no pink juice flowing from it. Another thing that you can do with chicken, we're cooking these with veggies today. If you're cooking just the chicken on its own, typically at a higher temperature for a little bit less time. So like 425 for about 18 to 20 minutes. It doesn't dry out as fast. So if you're cooking a little bit. So we're gonna throw these in this bowl.
So it's okay to put raw chicken on the vegetables now because we're going to cook them all together.
That's right. Now that all the chicken is added to the bowl, it would be a really good time to take your gloves off and wash your hands. I'm going to ask y'all to keep them on because I'm going to have you stir it for me. I've taken my gloves off and washed my hands, so I'm going to go ahead and mix the spice mix for us. If I had didn't have gloves, I would want to wash my hands and make sure that I don't touch anything that my chicken fingers had touched. So we've got chili powder, onion powder, garlic, cumin, and just a little bit of salt and pepper in here. Spices are a really great way to add flavor without adding calories or added sodium or things like that. And it gives this dish kind of a nice Tex-Mex flavor. And I'm just going to add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And this, of course, adds flavor to the dried spices, but also helps it stick to some of the veggies and the chicken in the dish. We're going to put the lid on and stir it up. And then I'm going to ask y'all, once I pour this on our chicken and our veggies, to just stir it up for us. So, y'all can just toss that around. Make sure it's even in there.
We're both excited to do this part.
All right, go ahead. All right, so we went ahead and cleaned off our workspace and wiped it down. What we want to do is, y'all both have gloves on. We're going to spread our mixture onto our sheet pan. A couple things you can do. You can use parchment paper, which is what we've chosen to use today. You can use aluminum foil with a little bit of cooking spray. If you don't have either of those, no problem. Just a little bit of cooking spray on your baking sheet. Some people only have a baking dish, and that's also perfectly fine to cook this in. So you can find many different ways to cook this. So if y'all want to go ahead, just spread it out. It doesn't matter how you dump it on, as long as we spread it evenly on the pan once it's there. And so what we'll do, because we have so much on our baking dish, you can do one of two things. We can put it on another baking dish, or halfway through cooking, we're just going to stir it. Okay. All right, it's ready to go again. We're going to put this in an oven preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes, or until the chicken is done and the vegetables are tender.
And you should never leave a cooking surface unattended. Make sure it's turned off when you're done using it. Know where your fire extinguishers are at all times. And if you do have a fire, call 911 immediately. That looks delicious.
It looks amazing. All right, it looks delicious. Y'all did a great job. So we're gonna serve this over quinoa. It's a complete dish without it, but it gives it a little more heartiness. And if you do choose to make this dish without the chicken, it makes it a complete meal. So we're gonna let y'all try it with quinoa. Okay?
Sounds great.
Well, Commander Megan, tell us why this program, Cooking with Pops, tell us about the program and why it's important to you.
So I really believe in developing a connection with our students and staff. And I think that having common experiences like cooking can be an easy way to do that. Also, it gives us cooking skills, right? Because we're not born with cooking skills, and especially healthy cooking is important to me. Just a couple years ago, I weighed almost 300 pounds, and through changing my lifestyle and eating better, I've lost 80 pounds, and I still have a little ways to go. But this kind of merges the two.
Yep. That's amazing. Yeah, it's such a personal testimony as well. So thanks for sharing. So tell us about UCF Downtown and how is this campus different from the main campus?
So it's completely different, right? Though we do still provide the same services to the downtown campus as we do on the main campus, downtown's a tighter community. We really get to walk around and meet students more, hang out with administrators and staff members a little bit more than we do on the main campus. And it's just neat being part of something from the ground up. And having officers committed to the same goal and to be really into community outreach is great. So what brought your journey to higher education in UCF?
Sure. Well, first, I'm a 3-time UCF alumni, so I actually spent a little over 10 years of my educational journey here at UCF, so I have a passion for UCF as a student. And what brought me here into higher ed was really just a teacher in my 10th grade that really believed in my potential, and I knew I always wanted to be an educator, and I got some really great experiences with programming and made me realize that I want to be able to be a part of something where I could have influence on policy and change and programming and be able to impact the students on a granular level. So that's why I'm in higher ed.
That's great. There's not too many staff members or faculty members that seem to get all their degrees at UCF and are here. So you're a rare animal here.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes, and the other piece I just want to mention too is I am a transfer student, so I came from a state college, so I have a passion for working with Valencia students, and I actually worked at Valencia for 10 years before I came to UCF. So downtown has been a great mix of my experiences at UCF and at Valencia, and it has been very valuable for me in my role here with UCF Downtown.
That's great. I went to Valencia before I went and got my degree at UCF, so I also was a transfer student back in the day.
Great. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you for enjoying our meal together and helping us prepare it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and thanks for bringing WIPs to educate our students about well-being and health and wellness. So thanks, Commander Megan.
This is good.